Hello and welcome to the final video of the LEC preview videos. We're covering Vitality, who happen to be ranked last going into this season. Now, it's pretty fair to say that this is the floor of the expectations for this team, as you have pretty much three rookies on it. I mean, Linkus did play a bit last season, 9 games in summer, but for the most part, this is a majority rookie squad. The last 3 years have been a struggle for Vitality, finishing what, ninth? No, sorry, seventh, eighth, and eighth. And they have tried to build rosters with big names. They've tried to go big names. They've tried to go rookies. They just cannot figure it out. Mac joins yet last year, and I had a lot of high hopes for Vitality. I think I had them fourth going into the season, and things fell apart. Then you hear the crap about what they did with Linkus joining the team, and that Douglas was never going to stay as the jungler, which I thought was borderline unethical. Um, and now you end up in a situation where the squad is trying, right? They're trying to bring young players in and also keep some veteranship as well. So in top lane, you have Nako. Now, Knock didn't play in 2013, returned to play in 2014, is a young player, only 19 years old. 2.8 KDA, 54.2 KP, 8 CS per minute, all pretty standard numbers. Now, we say that, but that was at a lower level of play, so keep that in mind. Negative 0.9 share differential, 1.29 ROI, and behind 45 gold at 15 minutes. 2.56 vision efficiency, 17 champions in 78 games. Kayasante, Renekton, and Aatrox account for 46% of his games. Personally, I think, the reason for this is pretty evident why he got the job, and they didn't go outside of the organization for Trayson. But Nako last year did not. This stat line does not earn an opportunity, in my opinion. There's not exceptional numbers here, and you may say, yeah, but numbers, what do numbers mean? Well, I haven't watched him play, so I'm going to look at his numbers, right? We're going to do a little bit of scouting here for a second. You're not getting ahead in the laning phase against lower level competition. If you're not getting ahead in the laning phase at a lower level of competition, what do we think is going to happen at a higher level of competition? That's not to say he's never capable of doing it, because he certainly is. He's only 19 years old. He's coming off of a year layoff. But by taking that year off in 2013, maybe you do end up saying, hey, no, 2025, you're sitting in ERL still. Like, that's the reality of it. You have to show that you're better than this level of play. And sure, people like to say, well, look at this highlight, look at this and that, this solo kill. I don't care. I really don't care. You know, solo kills per game, we can say this player's aggressive, this player's very good in lane, but what did that turn into? Is there a gold lead? If you got a solo kill and then you're behind 150 gold at 15 minutes, I don't care if you got a solo kill, you solo killed somebody that's ahead of you now. Great work. You couldn't turn that solo kill into anything. So the fact of the matter is, being behind at 15 minutes is pretty easy to say, what are we doing here? Then, we also say, the rest of the numbers are pretty standard. So maybe he's an all-around player. He can do both. It's entirely possible. The 1.29 ROI is solid. The share differential is pretty normal. But that's the thing. This is a normal stat line, but at a lower level of play. Now, behind him is Vertigo. Now, Vertigo's stat line, also very standard, but it was at the same level of play. So that's what's interesting here. 2.2 KDA, that is lower. The guy's dying quite a bit with a 50% KP. You're in the fight half the time. Maybe you're dying before the fight begins. I don't know. 8.3 CS per minute, down 1.5 share, 1.3 ROI, 10 gold ahead, 2.46 vision efficiency, 21 champions, 83 games. Okay. Jungle, Linkus, is a player that deserved an opportunity. He was good enough to be in the LEC. Now, did what the Daga situation have to happen? No. It should not have happened. Especially mid-season. Like, come on. Give me a break. So, this kid's going to play. He's 21 years old. Last season, and keep in mind, 9 of these 50 games were Tier 1. But 3.8 KDA, 73.6 KP, and a 5.6 CS per minute. So 3 out of every 4 kills. Solid CS, given the meta last season, and a solid KDA. negative 4.8 share differential, and a .89 ROI. Facilitator. And that was nice alongside Vethio, but the problem is a 9-game sample, how much are you going to get out of that? But in my opinion, that is the combo that would have made sense because Vethio's higher resource. So maybe Linkus gives up some camps to Vethio to then, he goes to mid lane, get Vethio ahead. Now, that's a whole nother conversation we'll talk about in a minute because Vethio's still in this organization. But that seemed like a better match. Negative 4.8 share differential, like I said. 65 gold ahead, 3.81 vision efficiency. I mean, he wasn't incredibly dominant either last season in ERLs. It's just he wasn't. Now, he's a facilitator, though. So, facilitators, you don't expect to really get that much of a gold lead. You do want one because, hey, if you're getting assists, getting kills, creating pressure. But, it wasn't really there. 16 champions, 50 games. Viral Viego, 42% of his champion pool. Behind him is Leroux. Leroux is an older player, I believe. 4.9 KDA, 69 KP, 6.5 CS per minute. More of a carry-oriented player with the higher CS, lower KP. Negative 3.8 share differential, but only a 1.05 ROI. So with that gold that he was getting with all that farm, didn't deal nearly as efficient damage. 120 gold ahead, 3.67 vision efficiency, 16 champions, 69 games. Mid lane is Zajac. Zajac is a rookie, a player that I had on one of my prospect lists, I think 2 years ago. A Polish mid, if I recall. And there's potential here. 4.8 KDA, 63 2 KP, 8 CS per minute. Now that potential was a couple years ago. So 63 KP. 3 out of every 5 kills, right? 8.8 CS per minute. Not overly active. Where Vethio, also 61.7 KP. Also not very active, but a 9.2 CS per minute, so getting a little more farm. Zajac, 4.4 share differential, 1.63 ROI. He did do a decent amount of damage with his gold. Positive share differential. Looking at this team real fast for the share differential, we have 10.8 in the positive for Zajac and Karzi. And what? Negative... Oh, I didn't even put the... Oh, geez. Whoever the support is on Vitality Academy, they should have been on here. Vitality Bees. They're not on here. For some reason, I didn't write them on here. My bad. But, Hilly. 10.8, we got negative 4.9, negative 9.7, 10... 6. So this team is in the positive 0.2. If these two guys can get it done, they'll have enough of a carry threat based on last year's lineup. It'll be tough. Negative 95 gold at 15 minutes. So not getting ahead in the laning phase. Said the same thing about Knock-Knocko, right? You're not getting ahead in the early game. What do you think is going to happen when we get to Tier 1? 2.54 vision efficiency. Yeah. 20 champions, 78 games, 21 years old. Tristana Azir Corky, only 36% of his champion pool. So wide champion usage, which is good. Vethio. Now, if he was playing in the LEC this year, he'd be coming into the season 8th, statistically. I have said in the past, he's the best mid laner in the LEC. This, that, and the third. Well, he's not anymore. Statistically, he's just not that guy anymore. This past year, he was pretty bad. The 60 KP is, we just talked about, not great. 9.2 CS per minute. To compare with that, okay, what are we doing? We're sitting on our hands. 0.6 share differential, 1.3 ROI is terrible. Terrible. That's bad. That's just no good. Guy is not dealing any damage. You might as well not give him any gold because the gold he's using is useless. He's not dealing damage. In a meta where we saw AD mids, etc., yeah, sure, it might not fit you, but that's one of the lowest ROIs and one of the lowest share differentials across all of Tier 1. Like, Frescowi, I think, may have had a higher ROI, and I'm very critical of Frescowi. 120 gold ahead, 2.92 vision efficiency, 17 champions, 46 games. Still 22 years old. Still could return to the LEC or LCS at some point, but he needs to turn it around. Bot lane duo remains the same. Karzi, only 22 years old. We always forget how young he is. This stat line ranks 7th last season. A lot of Senna games hurting it. So 3 KDA, 64.6 KP, which is low, right? But we're going to notice the way, Vitality played last year, the bot lane was kind of on its own as a duo. Keep that in mind. 8.1 CS per minute, very low. One of the lowest you're going to find in Tier 1 last season. 6.4 share differential and 1.72 ROI, though. So still dealt 29 or so percent of the team's damage with low farm. The resources going elsewhere where other people can deal some damage or facilitate or whatever, because Carzzy is doing his job. Carzzy is very good. He's very good. And people get critical of him because, hey, the win-loss stat, that is a team stat, not a player stat, gets mentioned. I think it's an absolute joke whenever, any time anybody brings up win rate for a player. It's no good. Negative 30 gold, 2.85 vision efficiency, 15 champions, 46 games, 22 years old. Varus, Senna, and Xayah, 52% of the game. So more than half of his games played were on one of these three champions. Jopa is the backup, 5.3 KDA, 75.9 KP, and a 9.3 CS per minute. Very different last season for him compared to Carzzy. Carzzy, 2 out of every 3 kills or so. A little less than that. Jopa, 3 out of every 4. Big difference. One team is fighting around a player. The other one is saying, hey, we're going to go fight elsewhere. Going to go get Photon ahead. Which is pretty much what it is, because everyone's at 60%. So I do wonder what, I really look back and see what Photon's KP was. Everyone's just kind of fighting all over the place with Vitality. Just chaotic mess. 4.4 share differential, 1.63 ROI, 175 gold ahead, 2.7 vision efficiency, 20 champions, 78 games. The support is Hilly still. So Hylissang, 29 years old. This stat line ranks 3rd among supports in the LEC last year. But he's an inter. His KDA is 1.9. Yeah, despite ranking as one of the worst KPs, he's one of the highest in other categories. And you take all that into account, he's 3rd. So 1.9, 64.9 KP. Once again, him and Carzzy, together. They were not, Hilly was not going to mid and leaving Carzzy out to dry all that often. Negative 4.9 share differential, 0.86 ROI. Despite not being all that aggressive in the kill department, still dealt a lot of damage. And that's because of the Senna games. Hilly's taking on farm. He's dealing a bit more damage due to that. 135 gold ahead. So if we do the math here, this team's behind at 15 minutes. I think. Maybe not. 200 gold ahead. No, yeah, they're ahead slightly. Slightly, like 40 gold. And when you have 3 rookies that should have earned themselves a promotion from ERLs, you'd like that to be higher. 2.03 vision efficiency, 18 champions, 46 games. Like I said, 3rd in his role, 29 years old, one of the oldest in his role across LOL Esports. Rakan, Nautilus, Renata, 46% of his champion pool. Like I said, for some reason, I did not write the support. I do apologize for that, for Vitality Bees. Mac is the coach. Mac is 87 and 70 over his career in the regular season, 55% win rate, 63 and 58 in playoffs, group stage, whatever you want to call it, in LEC for a 52% win rate, and then internationally 26 and 34 for a 43% win rate. You can't finish worse than 10th. So at worst, this team will finish 10th and possibly do better than that. I have SK, Heretics, and Vitality all very closely ranked when I look at the way the stats made the rankings turn out. So I could see them finishing in any order, to be honest with you. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.